Hello, welcome to Dynamic DCUO. Follow me here. In this video I want to talk to you about electronics, electricity, and the blog sites version of it. But first I want to show you what I was running with so we can give you a little bit of a comparison. I was running with the polarized version, going with static push that does the polarizing, electrostatic bomb, which I love because it pulls all the enemies together, which is really useful, spark barrage, which was a good handy spam power. And I would then use either electrocute, or I was just starting to play around a little bit with the whirlwind attack, and flux for a shield, and then megabolt for the supercharge. Now the blog version goes with the electricity side of things instead of the polarized side, starting off with arc lightning, and then it focuses on doing several dots. It will actually run with 3 dots, the Tesla ball, slow moving ball. Then it'll go with electrocute, which is a nice big area thing, electrogenesis, which will hit 2 targets, which is also a dot, and then either weapon attacks or voltaic blast. And the voltaic blast is just a one-shot thing. And then it was going circuit breaker for alerts and raids, or megavolt for if you're doing solos, maybe duos. I tend to run with flux because I've only got like 179 skill points, so she's a little bit weak, doesn't have a lot of artifacts or augments, not one of my higher characters, so I wound up going with this version of it. And the one nice thing about the blog site is they offer several variants. Actually, they let you sub in electrogenesis or using overcharge, which is kind of a spam power, and I've got that loaded in my number 5 spot here. Overcharge will do the spam thing, and it'll hit on every 3rd hit. It'll do extra damage, and it does hit multiple targets, so that's advantageous. I wound up deciding I wasn't super crazy with it and changed it out for the blast, because I thought that the Tesla blast did more damage. It's a single target thing, but it does more damage. And so for a spam, I like that better. I wasn't super comfortable with just going with 3 dots and then nothing but the voltaic blast for my hit. The one thing that the blog site mentions is it's pretty much expecting you to be using weapon attacks, so a lot of the dots would then be subbed in with the weapon attacks instead of going with straight powers. I don't really do a lot of the weapon stuff. I've got a character I'm playing around with on precision, but for the most part I don't do a lot with weapons. Some of that is left over from the old days of advanced mechanics. But this rotation does work fairly well. It took me a little bit getting used to. You got to be aware that things like arc lightning that it starts off with will hit lots of targets. So it is definitely not a surgical sort of loadout, especially if you're also using the electrocute, which is a big area effect. So be aware of that. And there again, that's why the spam power for the Tesla blast may be useful. And I do like the flux is a good shield, and as you see here with Lobo, it pushes them away. It does push your enemies away, as well as giving you that extra boost. Now in this particular instance, I kind of forgot and neglected to load a supercharge. Wasn't sure where I'd put it, and I'm still playing around with testing this loadout anyway, but this is pretty much how it runs off the blog site. The only difference I did was keeping flux, and basically keeping flux instead of a supercharge, and I'm using the Tesla blast instead of either doing weapon attack or also having in electrocute, or possibly using the overcharge, which the overcharge against the boss isn't going to do a whole lot of good. And I think we got Lobo just about done here, and that flux has really saved my bacon on this particular run. So that's how it works. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit different. I'm still getting used to it, but I hope you like this content. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. See you next time. Happy gaming.